Barrow, too, for St. John's River State. And that is our starting lineup, brought to you by Zurich Insurance. I'll look and see. The play-by-play, how'd I do? Oh, Avilos Morales was one of the starters, so I didn't get that one. But I got everybody else for St. John's River State. And there you see Mary Fromm, head coach, 6th year, whole entire program built by her when it comes to the Heartland Hawks. And no, I can't tell you exactly what's on that paper because I couldn't decipher it. I'm not a coach. The other coach on the other side, the Hall of Famer, Stephanie Champagne, going in the NJCAA Hall of Fame this year for her work as a player at Owens Community College. The reverse sweep. Her 3rd team into the national tournament for Coach Champagne. Also a national championship underneath her belt at Richard Bland. Took Terra State, then Richard Bland. This year, St. John's River State. Back to serve will be Uten. Uten last night, 20 kills, hit 200, 9 digs, 3 aces. Going to see a lot of her, a lot of Teal up at the front. And Junis, going to see a lot of that too. I thought last night, out of the top seeds that I got to see, Heartland played the most consistent volleyball. Can they do it again at the big stage? Finished 3rd last year as the 5th seed. This year, a little more pressure as the 2. Teal, long on that. Teal is one of those transfers, well, the only transfer from Richard Bland. So Junis will serve again, 2-0. Gracie takes a big sigh as it's received by Uten. Teal blocked. Muma up front. Muma split time with Libby Detweiler, but designed the offense around her now as Junis on the lollipop serve. And a little shoulder shrug afterwards. The dancing for her. Oh, boy. The Hawks are into it already. And a 4-0 lead. I don't know if you get Gracie's smile or the Heartland Hawks sideline. And a 5-0 start for Heartland. I'll tell you one thing, Junis has a game face. And targeting Reyes and a 3rd one. And Coach Champagne going to call for a sub as Stolzfus comes in for Uten. Has to do that because with Reyes, then they can hide her, but you got to have Reyes back there for digs. And a 6-0 start for the Heartland Hawks. And another short serve. This time Horn was able to gather and to get a swing from Cole, Katie Cole. Point scorer and strong slide. And St. John's River State gets off the onion at a 6-1 start, though. If you're just joining us and didn't know what happened in the last match, then Gulf Coast State ousted Kirkwood. Gulf Coast State into the semifinals. They're awaiting who they'll play. Kansas City, Kansas, and Pensacola State over on the other side. And an ace serve for St. John's River State. Kaylee Kirkland with the ace. 20 aces entering the tournament. That one right in front of Mullenhouse. Muma tips it over. Reyes the save. Set for Teal, and Muma and Detweiler up to the challenge on a block. And Mullenhouse will go back to serve. Should mention that Pensacola State and Kansas City, Kansas, that is a 2-0 lead for Kansas City, Kansas. That's on the other side of the bracket for you fans for Heartland and St. John's River State. Winner of this will take on either Cali or Now we got a net violation on Heartland. It'll be Parkland or Cali coming up tomorrow, or tonight later, and that's the two winners. This winner and the Parkland Cali will play in the semifinals tomorrow night. That is on court 2. You guys leave me over here. Either one of these teams I've been able to watch for the last couple of days. Day 2 here at the tournament. And Fortin comes in. Fortin back to serve. And a big lefty swing there by Peters. Chance over the far side by Pescia. Off the block. And Pescia with that, 9-3. Fortin to serve once again. I do see some Cali fans walking by, checking out the quarterfinals over here. They'll be waiting a little bit. As Teal tips up and over the block, or finding the donut, if you will. Teal will serve. That'll put Uten back to the front line and replacing Stolzfus. Don't think that St. John's River State was too worried about that heavy start for Heartland. As Junis brings it across on a back row set. Far side, and Peters. That lefty swing has a great whip, is what Coach Champagne said. She's right about that. Good one right there. 9-5. Far side for Pescia, blocked. Came right to Valdez. Back set for Fortin. How about Peters again, blocked. Good recovery there by Peixoto. That one, though, for Uten into the antenna. And I do see that Kansas City, Kansas won 3-0. And so one semifinal locked in. Waiting on the second one. Wow, what a save by Uten off that block. Came right over to her. Junis up at the front. You know she's going to get attacks. This one spun wrong way off of her hand. Just an awkward spin. Back up to the front then Katie Cole for St. John's River State. Back to serve is Peixoto. Elisa runs the back court. Great ball control, can set 2. Played beach in Brazil. Junis, and that off of Horn, who was trying to help out the block from behind. Junis with that kill. More substitutions. Keim comes in. Keim will serve. And that'll put court number 2 on their final match of the day, and it's Cali and Parkland. And that's the quarterfinals. That's how wild and crazy this tournament is. Peters, yes, right in front of Fortin. Another great setup there. And Reyes will serve. Peters getting that nod early. She only had 1 kill last night. Has that one out. And a side out. 12-7. And off the block then. Detweiler getting that last one. Some of these short serves. This has to be something that Coach Fromm had seen. And Detweiler taking that one. And we have a timeout by St. John's River State. 4 kills so far for Heartland, plus the 3 aces. And only the 1 attack error. St. John's River State with 4 attack errors already in the match. You can follow all the action of the 2025 NJCAA Volleyball Championships live on the NJCAA Network. Go to njcaa.org/network to view live an archive video of each game. Our entire tournament right here on the NJCAA network. The D1, of course, going on too. As all those matches on the NJCAA network, except for the championship, that moves over to ESPN Plus. And how about this story for the Heartland Hawks? I know we're showing the Vikings, but I want to hit on this just because I'm talking about the NJCAA network. I just looked up the Heartland Hawk women's soccer team into the D2 championship. Hawks beat Holmes 2-1, and the championship will be Saturday at 1 o'clock versus Northwest Mississippi. And I do know that there is a lot of camaraderie between the Heartland volleyball team and the Heartland soccer team. And so they keep tabs on each other. And so the Hawks, with one team already competing for a championship, women's soccer team then into the finals. Congratulations to them, defeating Northwest Mississippi. Probably watching right here on the NJCAA network. Shout out to you. As back to serve is Brennan. And I'm going to talk about that young lady at some point tonight. I didn't get a chance to do it last night. And into the net was Cole on that slide. And double up time for Heartland here at 14-7. Served over to Reyes. Horn sets for Uten. Blocked. Horn saved it. Back over. Valdez couldn't quite, or pardon me, Mumma couldn't quite put it down. Roll shot for Detweiler. Peixoto getting down on the floor to bring that back up. Teal brought it across. Set again for Detweiler. Block was a little late. Cole was already jumping up as Detweiler's swinging. She used that momentum, hit it off the left arm, came over to the sideline, and it's 15-7. Heartland leading by 8. First set. Sixth match of the day here on championship court number 1. As that blocked, Uten going up against Mumma. Back to serve is Brennan. Coach Fromm building the program. Talked about that home tournament. Peixoto on the receive. Let's see if Uten gets a big swing. She does. Mullenhouse, though, there. Junis blocked and in. It stayed in over on the far side for Horn and Cole. Got to keep working if you're St. John's River State. Again, down 0-2 yesterday to Iowa Central and fought back to win 3-2. Used some extra points there in set 4, but still managed to get the W. Junis bringing it over. Reyes and a middle shot. That went backwards off of Brennan and Katie Cole. Katie Cole just with 1 kill yesterday too. So, and then an ace. Newton on the ace, 16-10. I told you, I mean, what we saw out of St. John's River State yesterday, clearly battle-tested, able to come back. Mumma over on the far side, tipped up. Peixoto will set Teal, and she got a swing out of it. Mullenhouse had it go straight up in the air. Detweiler will get a chance off of the Junis set. Peixoto down. Teal tips over. Recovered by Brennan. Detweiler, roll shot. Peixoto again. And a middle attack by Cole, no. Teal goes up and over the block. Brennan will set Junis far side. Roll shot blocked again. Mumma over. Horn sets. Teal blocked off her shoulder. Detweiler and Mumma putting up a wall for the Hawks. Junis to serve. Talked about her the other night. It's her brother playing for the Guardians. Cleveland Guardians made the playoff roster this year too. For Junis. Our defense, phenomenal, according to Coach Fromm. Well, we've seen it on display. Right there we do. Key it up like I drew it up. Paisha swings and kills. And it's back to an 8-point lead for Heartland. And this is the response that you have to have when a team puts a run on you. You got to come back, right? Put some pressure back on there. That's what Kirkwood really lost out on. And that's a tough serve, too. Horn comes all the way over by the scores table. Teal gets a look, though. Mullenhouse digs. Detweiler, double block, saved by Brennan. Far side for Paisha. Cut it across. Peixoto touch first. Look at the tracking by Stolzfus, and Reyes brings it across. Muma, though, because the defense is scrambling so much for the Vikings, Muma got a great attack and a good look. Murillo will come into the front. Juliet Murillo, we saw her last night, 19-10. Great defensive effort by the Vikings, but then you have to get back in your system, and tough to do that when you're covering all the way to the carpet. Paisha, far side, roll shot. Peixoto there. Horn sets for Murillo. Junis was ready for it. Detweiler gets a look. Tried to cut it across. Reyes from the knees back up and still set Teal. Muma tried to go at the tip. Peixoto back over. Far side. Paisha. That's still alive. What a save again by Teal. And the volley, though, goes to Heartland with Paisha and even Coach Fromm coming off the chair. You don't see Coach Fromm too emotional, but even she on that long volley came up off the chair, a fist bump to the sideline, and Heartland Hawks up 20-10. Wow, my goodness. And some fantastic defensive effort on both sides. But it's the Hawks that are getting the points. You're watching the NJCAA Network, presented by Zurich American Insurance Company, the official provider of student-athlete insurance for the NJCAA. Zurich helps athletes get back on the field after an injury. Learn more at zurichna.com. St. John's River State's hitting zeros right now. 7 kills, 7 errors. Heartland Hawks 250, They just updated that. 9 kills for Heartland. Plus the 3 aces, St. John's River State has 2. What a start for the Heartland Hawks, who come in 37-4. For St. John's River State, they're 22-13. However, there should be kind of an asterisk mark on that because they had some forfeiting matches early on, all of August, and Coach Champagne said, they took an actual loss to Parkland, but the rest of those were really wins. And she said, we see our record as 30-4. I understand why. They self-reported their issue. And Teal denied again by Muma. The blocks are starting to add up too. 5 total blocks for Heartland in the first set. Junis, this is a long serving run too. Horn just saving that before it got to be an ace. Stolzfus sends it over, but it's long. (22-10). And we got some kind of, Junis doesn't like that. This was 17-10, so it's a 5-0 run. Actually, it was 10-16 when Teal had the miss hit. So make it a 6-0 run. Heartland is just dancing over on the left side. They're just waiting. You talk about being free and loose. And now we got a ball in the net. Junis cannot believe it. (6-0) run here for Heartland. Still got a great serve off. Waited for it forever. Thought about that may have been out. Stolzfus played it. Teal blocked again by Muma. Muma on the year had one match where she had 10 blocks, if you can believe it, which right now you probably can. She's up to 3 thus far, although they have it as 6 block assists. Those last couple have been solos. Might have to rethink that as a short serve. Peixoto just getting a receive out of that. Teal. And then Brennan almost ran into her hitter, and that's going to work out for Murillo. Well, it's not like Pesha got a good swing out of that. You've got your setter walking in front of you as she's trying to set. And back to service Kirkland then. Line drive serve played off of Mullenhouse. Detweiler on this near side, killing it off quickly. Heartland has had the answers, and Sam Mullenhouse, the sophomore libero, back to serve, confident, composure, covers everything, dependable serve. Did I jinx it? I don't know. No, she got it over. That's what Coach Fromm had said. Muma reaching out on that, and a kill for Avilos Morales. I think that might be her first. No, she does have a second one earlier in the match. Just 2, though. Horn serving. Junis read it very well off the tape. Muma off the double block, 25-12. And the Heartland Hawks win the first set, 25-12 in our quarterfinal. We'll take a break. Winner of this takes on either Parkland or Cali. Neither team has started over on the other side. They're still waiting. Heartland not waiting. They get on the board first, 25-12, and up on St. John's River State. NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship on the NJCAA Network.
Credit Union One, the official banking partner of the National Junior College Athletic Association, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking and an expansive network of 90,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
My name is Riley Clark. I'm the athletic director at the Weber School in Sandy Springs. Our gym was just built this past year. It's a brand new facility, and we were in need of new scoreboards. We were looking for good quality of scoreboard, ease of use with the iPads and the ability to post anything we want on that, the great warranty that it has and the ability to work with a company so easily. Those were really things we were looking for, and we found all of that with digital scoreboards.
Why so serious? Great shot.
Carver's 250. He got it.
Greenside bunker, land short.
Trust your line. There's plenty of green.
Breaks towards the water.
Lots of coaching today, huh? We're one up.
When you strive to be the best, you need the right insights. Zurich has insurance solutions and risk strategies to help prepare your business for tomorrow.
25-12, our score in that first set. And there you see some of the fans. No doubt texting out that score, especially if you're a Heartland Hawk fan, because they lead the match 1-0, and the numbers are going to tell you why. 3+ in the hitting for kills, but then look at the percentage. 10 kill attack errors gives Heartland 10 of those points off of St. John's River State mistakes. They finish with a negative. Diggs even, Ace is almost even, but it's the hitting. I mean, you gift a team that already hit 11 kills and had 3 aces another 10 points. Whew, you're going to struggle. Our match stats presented by the U.S. Air Force. The Heartland Hawks, 3rd place last year. The best match I covered last year was them and KCK. In Kansas City, Kansas, will make that third place match or the championship match because they're in to the semifinal. What a semifinal that's going to be. Gulf Coast State and Kansas City, Kansas. That's what we'll have for you on this court. Court 2 will send it over, Heartland or St. John's River State, against one of those two teams of Cali and Parkland. Individually, St. John's River State, 2 for Avilos, Morales, Cole, and Peters. Notice I didn't say Teal and I didn't say Uten. Teal ended up with just 1 kill on 17 attack errors. 17 total attacks, 6 attack errors. She finished with a negative 294. Peixoto on the back end, 6 digs. And Horn had 8 assists. And I didn't mention Uten either. She didn't even have a kill. The digs, Mullenhouse, 9. 10 assists for Brennan. And that one for Avilos Morales is out. And so that point goes to Heartland. Was not touched. Detweiler, 4 kills, hit 444. Pasha, 3 kills, 375. Muma, the defense, of course, the work that she put in there, three blocks already. And Mullenhouse saves with the one arm. Junis, still blocked. Get another chance. Block up front. Muma saved. How in the world did she save that after the Detweiler was blocked? Peters, a left-handed rocket. Junis, back to the middle. Long volley. Who gets the big swing? Who gets the kill? Detweiler, get a chance. Peixoto. And we have a net violation. Hit the hip. Official is even telling Coach Dryden, Sean Dryden, the assistant coach, as that serve was awfully short. Junis over the block. Peixoto had to go sideways. Far side for Teal. Junis saves. Brennan will set Junis. Try to go the line shot, and instead it got hit off of the block. Maybe that's where she was going. Looks like a hit off of Peters. And then falls to the floor. Back to serve is Brennan. Maybe my favorite story of the tournament, just because of where she's from. I was told she's from Fulton, Illinois. And so I looked it up because Coach Fromm said that's a small town. Well, I grew up in a small town. I know what a small town is like. And that push by Detweiler. So I looked it up. I mean, it is still a small town. 3,000 is the population. She was a small town, multi-sport athlete, never specialized in volleyball. Thousands of reps, diamond in the rough. She refined her skills at Heartland. I love a good small town kid. Now, I will tell you that my hometown did not have 3,000 people in it. My small town had 250. Not like 2,500, but 250 people. That was it. And right now the town probably has about 125 to 150. So it got even smaller after I left. Back to serve will be Teal. Talking about rural Iowa, that's small towns. Teal back to serve. A little sideways on that serve receive. Junis long, missing that. Junis, that puts her at zeros then. 3 kills, 3 errors on 12 attacks. 4-2 the score. Heartland leading, and that one does go out. Junis will lead the front and serve for the Heartland Hawks. Peters, that was touched. Oh, they didn't have a touch. That even sounded like there was a touch on it. Coach Champagne is going to challenge. I completely agree. I thought I could hear the touch from up here. I don't think this is going to stand. St. John's River State then. Let's talk a little bit about the Vikings. Coach Champagne, Coach Dryden coming over from Richard Bland. As we said, those forfeited matches in August, but a lot of those were wins in the season. They were 5-1. They beat Pensacola State 3 times. Well, I take that back, 5-2. They split with Gulf Coast State. They defeated St. Clair County and then lost to Parkland. Again, that forfeit shows that they lost to St. Clair County, but if you look at the scores, they did win that. Now, they played Parkland in August too, and that was a loss. She said we had a few girls on the beach team who really wanted to be a part of the indoor team and a few taking a redshirt year for medical reasons. And, well, we needed to move letters of intent around, and we didn't. Some girls played in those matches that are playing now. We still see our record at 30-4, which would be 31-4, and we self-reported once the error was recognized. And that was from Coach Champagne. I've thoroughly enjoyed covering Coach Champagne's teams, regardless of who they've been. She's always sent a really nice email, spoke to Coach Dryden. I realize that the Coach of the Year always goes to the national champion in D2. I felt like Coach Champagne, the year that they got Terra State here, and then not only that, they came in the spring and then the fall of 2021, the job that those two did as Terra State made it in a much higher place from the spring to the fall. Thought really they were the most improved team that we saw. And then after those two qualifying teams, that's when they moved to Richard Bland. And, of course, Harrigan Durko and a couple other ones from Terra State moved over to Richard Bland, and that's when they won the championship in 2022 as a coaching staff at Richard Bland. This one's taken a while for the review down on Spidio. And Coach, I remember them leaving Terra State to Richard Bland because she's told me that they moved in a blizzard and then had like volleyball practice the very next day. So, because they were trying to get ready for beach as well. So no touch. I can't believe that. It did stand. Wow. And Coach Dryden's getting a explanation from the official down below, but I don't know what I heard, but it sure sounded like a tip. Coach Dryden and Coach Champagne discussing things over. It was a barrage of Hawks, 25-12 in that first set. Junis had to wait a long time again to serve. And did Horn reach over? Yes. So the official talking to Jessica Horn and saying that she reached over then. Well, then she trots over and talks to Coach Champagne. They were thinking maybe the reach over by Heartland. Not the case. And now Heartland is doing the do-si-do before Junis serves. Oh, man. That was a tough set. Peters had to go underneath. Pasha on the kill. That was really tough for Peters. I felt bad for her on that because she's ready to attack, and like what Heartland had earlier in the match, where Pasha was stuck on that one hit. Same holds true there. Peters can't get a good hit if your setter's underneath of you. That was a good hit by Avilas Morales. Crossed over for Detweiler. What a save by Peters at the scores table. Muma rejected by Morales. Set for Peters. Better swing. Mullenhouse somehow with the one-arm save. You got to be kidding me with some of those digs that she is making. And the cut across for Uten. And there, once again, you got Coach Fromm coming up. And that is all for, I'm glad you guys showed her, because it was the libero that deserved that point. Mullenhouse saving on a one-arm swing. Oh, and off the tape for Junis. And Coach Champagne calling a timeout as it's ballooned to 10-2 here in the second set. 25-12 in the first and a 10-2 lead for Heartland in this second set. Order your official 2025 NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship merchandise online at the NJCAA store. Visit shopnjcaa.com to view exclusive national championship merchandise. 2 teams can state that claim already, Gulf Coast State and Kansas City, Kansas. At least state that they can still go for a championship. Heartland and St. John's River State in the quarterfinal, trying to get to the semifinal. One of these 2 teams still alive for the D2 championship. On the other side, Cowley and Parkland just starting in their match. The Heartland Hawks. The wins that they have had throughout the year, too. I had them for 10-3 against qualifying opponents, defeating Iowa Central, St. Clair County, Parkland, Sauk Valley twice, Kansas City, Kansas, Cowley once, Johnson County, Pensacola State. They split with Kirkwood. They lost to Gulf Coast State and Neosho County. Neosho County was here, and they are out now. Gulf Coast State into the semifinals. Junis on another serve. And Morales goes with a... Oh, they called her into the net. Avilos Morales, that was a kill. And that's a point for St. John's River State that's taken off the board. And a rocket off of Peixoto. Avilos Morales gets the revenge on the next, but down 11-3. Peixoto to serve for St. John's River State. Boy, that's a tough set. Muma could not get a hit off of it. And Peters gets a clean look at the net. That might have been the cleanest look the Vikings have had this entire match. No block up front. I will say I think Peixoto might have the most unorthodox serve that I have seen, although that one looks a lot cleaner. Muma came up on the receive. Far side and a big swing there for Detweiler. Set in the middle. Big swing there for Uten, but not down. Muma tools off the block on the recently checked in Murillo. Coach McCall of McHenry County sending me a little email talking about that OWT because that's what they host. 81 colleges coming to that OWT, the opening weekend tournament. That is insane, Coach McCall. Keep doing what you're doing. No relation to me, I will say that too, as that hit out. 14-4. And a timeout by St. John's River State. McHenry County does know about Heartland too. They saw him back on October 25th. Sorry, Coach, I had to mention that too. The Heartland won that 3-0. Heartland playing at a whole nother level right now, it feels like. 14-4. St. John's River State able to come back last night the reverse sweep. But, I mean, they kind of hung around a little bit with Iowa Central those first two sets, 25-20 and 18-25, or 20-25 and 18-25, then winning 25-22, 27-25, and then 15-12. 65 kills last night. They only have 11 so far, and we were practically halfway through set 2, still hitting in the negative. In fact, they're in the negative in both sets right now. Heartland's hitting .333. Sometimes it just comes down to the serve and pass game, which is what every coach talks about anyway. The serving, the passing, the digging. Molenhouse on that last one, you guys showed her, which was smart because she didn't get the point, but she should have. 13 digs, because that's an easy point for the Vikings if Molenhouse doesn't stick that arm out there. She's the server. Not long. That's an ace to the back line. 12th in digs in D3 coming into the tournament. An all-region member. Nationally looked at as a Defensive Player of the Week once. Nominated for that. And a far side. Uten, and that is out. Molenhouse was ready to go across the line to get that. And Reyes comes back to serve. Peixoto left the court and then came back in. Can't be doing that. Got to stay in there. Didn't realize what the rotation was for St. John's River State. Reyes, lots of bounces with that molten ball. And it's long. 15-5. Muma coming out. Fortin in to serve. Fortin into the net. And if you can believe it, that is the first serving error for Heartland in the match. They had 344 aces into the tournament coming in and 266 errors. It's not as though they're not aggressive, but they've been, and that one misses for Pescia, just out on that far sideline. St. John's River State, you could tell Reyes trying to fire them up a little bit too, trying to be the spark plug back there at 5-4 DS. Back to serve is Uten. It'll be the X's and O's. You got to make some changes if you're St. John's River State. That is their fourth serving error. They have 2 aces. Heartland a positive. 5 aces, 1 error. Fortin, or pardon me, not, that should be Brennan now. Fortin was the last server. And that one on the back line for Teal. I was wrong on both of them. That was Longton serving. Oh. All right, back to serve. I know is Kirkland. She's looking for a ball. Got it now. Brennan trying to track that. It ended up being Molenhouse. Junis on a roll shot. Far side for Teal. Have to get her going. Longton on the save. Fortin on the roll shot. Oh, is that an overpass? No. Teal handles it. Another good dig by Longton. Junis with a tip. Touched twice by Horn. Would have been in, you bet. Molenhouse knew that. Junis swings. I don't know if that was touched. They claim it was. That should have been a 2-touch call. And instead, it doesn't matter. Avilos Morales with the kill. It sure looked like Brennan got away with a 2-touch. They've been calling that a lot on the hitters, not so much on setters, but that definitely looked like a 2-touch. Not called, though. Avilos Morales ends the volley, gives the Vikings a point. Teal back line, but it's out. I mean, Teal's trying a little bit of everything. I don't see that as an issue. She's got to try different variety of shots. Can't just be the power all the time. Back to serve now is Kime for Heartland. But yeah, you can't just over and over again. Uten on that receive. And back to Teal. This time move her away from the antenna over on the far side. Put her towards the middle. She gets a good look. Got the point. 18-10. St. John's River State needing a run. Horn, an excellent setter, as Junis kind of carried that one. And the Vikings starting to figure things out a little bit. Here in set 2. Got down early, though. Cannot have those early deficits, but you also can't have the overpass. And Teal on that. And here is that run. I mean, this is what you need. 3 or 4. Even if you have a side out, it's got to come right back to you on a one and done. And you put a 3 or 4 together again. That's how you get back into the match. On a roll shot for Detweiler. Far side, Teal. Brennan will set Junis. Full swing. Tack came right at Horn, and it shoots underneath by the scores table. Junis on that. I will say St. John's River State back above the negative at .032 here in the second set. Heartland hitting 167. They had 290 in that first set. We have had a lot of condensation on the floor today. We need some of them scrubbers that you see on like the NBA or the NCAA basketball tournaments. Get some of those. You get the ball boys, some of those that go out there and scrub it all up. Short serve by Brennan and an overpass. Junis can't put it down, though, as Peters saves. Teal off the double block. Look at the coverage Longton gives. Detweiler back over. Touched by Horn first. Got to have somebody else set. Teal will get set. And Junis on the 2. Send it over. Oh, my goodness. What an effort. Peixoto went out there to get it. Uten just couldn't bring it across. Junis smart on the 2. Back to serve is Brennan. Short serve again, played off of Teal. Avilos Morales, no. Junis will have to adjust. Yeah, she was too far away from the net. And a nice hit there by Peters. Finding the floor. And her confidence maybe get back into it too. She has 5 kills. Now, pardon me, 4. Avilos Morales also with 4. Teal has 4. Uten just 1. Still hitting the negative. Go right back to Detweiler on a middle hit instead of Mumma. Pesha returns to the front line. Junis to serve. Pesha not a 6 rotation player. You won't see Junis, and you'll only see Mullenhouse leave for a whole second or two for a 1 serve rotation. Otherwise, they stay out there. And that one sideways and an ace for Junis, and it's back up to a 9-point lead of 22-13. Coach Champagne out of timeouts, I believe. I think she's used both of them. Has she not? Pretty positive. Oh, and off. Sure, why not? Home cooking for the Hawks. It is that kind of match right now. Junis, 23-13. And that short serve. And that for Peters, that nowhere near for her to swing. Don't see that too often with Jessica Horn. 1,000-plus career assists. She was first team All-FSCAA and the conference. She's a 4.0, and she's getting D1 looks as well. And we're on set point for Heartland. Almost got it off the block. Set again over the far side for Uten, and this one hits the 10-foot line. 24-14. Fight off one, but my goodness, Peixoto would have to build the campfire, pay rent, and feed the whole entire crew some hot dogs if they can get all the way back to 24s. Peixoto couldn't get that one down. Peters blocked. Murillo couldn't save it, and that's it. Pesha and Muma up front for the block. 25-14. The first one was 25-12. Heartland is absolutely rolling here in this quarterfinal. We'll take a break. NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship on the NJCAA Network.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
After 23 seasons as a professional playing and working in baseball, leadership in sports are things I deal with every day. I feel like I have my master's in baseball field experience, but I wanted the formal degree to go along with it. I needed something flexible with my schedule, and I wanted a school that shared my faith and values. That's why ACU's Master's in Sports Leadership was the right fit for me.
Pursue your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian University.
Looking for what comes next? For that moment when everything finally...
1 minute!
Whichever path you choose, it starts here.
(25-12) and 25-14. There you see some of the fans enjoying the NJCAA Division II Championship Tournament quarterfinals as Heartland leads 2-0. And again, the story is, I mean, you see it. The numbers right here. Heartland with a few more kills, but the fact is that it's 18 now attack errors for St. John's River State. Still sitting in the negative. 34 digs for Heartland, 7 aces to 2 as well. The Hawks just playing on another level, and you can see it in our match stats presented by the U.S. Air Force. And individually right now for Heartland, Detweiler 6 at 444, Junis 6 at 100. Pesha 4, Muma 3. Molenhouse has 14 digs and Brennan has 19 assists. 14 assists for Horn. And St. John's River State needs a good start here. They have not had it in the first 2 sets. Can they get it here? Teal on the cut, it's out. Avilos Morales 4, Peters 4, Teal 4, Teal in the negative. Cole 2, Uten 2, she's also in the negative. And last night, as Junis will serve first for Heartland with a 1-0 lead. Far side, Teal blocked, and there it is again with Muma. Last night, Teal had 25 kills and hit 362 against Iowa Central on the reverse sweep. and Uten had 20 kills and hit 200, not to mention 9 digs and 3 aces. So she put together a fine effort all the way around. Boy, even the free ball for St. John's River State. And Muma went for the quick attack, but into the net. 7 aces to 1 error for Heartland, 2 aces, 4 errors for St. John's River State. Over on the other side, Cali has taken a 2-point lead for Parkland. It is 21-19. And this is Long on the serve from Stolzfus. And it's continuing over there because I can hear Cali getting really excited. Mullenhouse on the serve, and it was Long. Official moving out of the way. Would have hit them. And 3-2. This is what St. John's River State needs, though. They may not have a lead, but they need to slow things down. The entire match, it's felt like almost in fast forward for the Vikings. So slowing things down a little bit. And that is up and out for Valdez. And I think Coach Fromm might challenge that. I'm just asking. Oh. Peixoto was not listening for the whistle. I don't think she realized that Coach Fromm was talking to the official down below, and that's the reason why she served it. And a net violation this time on Uten. I believe that 3-3 was our first tie, and that one hit the back line. And an ace for Heartland. I do not have it written down anywhere for another tie. So I believe that is the case. And a line drive serve. Come over to Peters, and the lefty tooling off the block. 5-4. I cannot believe that, but I do believe it, but I can't believe it. Reyes back to serve. Just a one tie in the match. Big swing by Pescia. Oh, nice job by Uten taking something off. Peixoto giving the big hug. 5s. Well, it's now or never for St. John's River State. I'm sure I said that last night too. A must-have situation for the Vikings, as it was last night against Iowa Central. Pescia, roll shot into the middle. Got that one down. And that serve long. Saw it right away for Longton. Off her hands, just shooting out. Back to serve will be Uten. Uten on that serve to Mullenhouse. And just a free ball up and over. And Valdez missed it. And this would be the first lead then for St. John's River State in the match. And Uten to serve. Mullenhouse with a much better receive. And that one didn't come over. Would have been 4 hits. Brennan went on the dump off. And back to serve will be Kime. 7-7. It does feel like the match has slowed down a little bit for the Vikings. They're not playing so sped up. Got a big swing there. And a change up front as I see Ebeling, Hannah Ebeling. That works for Teal. Getting into rotation for St. John's River State. All right, in system, pardon me. That's what I meant to say. Getting into system. Kirkland coming in to serve. The double change for Heartland. They'll get Mullenhouse back in. And Cali did win that first set over against Parkland. I think it was 25-23. Junis on the tip-off. Reyes was there. Teal off the block, saved up by Junis. And another one by Brennan. Oh, but an open look for Murillo. And finally some life out of the Vikings. Hadn't seen any of it in the first two sets. Brennan had to put it over. Teal up and across. And a back set for Fortin. Reyes. Murillo over the block, got it down. And so the others, as we've talked about multiple times, it's not Uten, it's not Teal, it's some of the middles. It's somebody else coming up with the big ones for the Vikings, and they need it. As that one long. And we'll see if that continues with Muma back up to the front. Muma just 3 kills, but she is up to 4 blocks. Good swing there by Murillo, but not down. Junis, a roll shot for her. Reyes makes a save. Teal blocked and got the point. Past the double block of Muma and Detweiler. And a 3-point lead for St. John's River State. Well, I mean, they didn't go away against Iowa Central. Same's going to hold true here tonight. But they looked out of sorts. 25-12 and 25-14. Mullenhouse, that's a tough one. And Murillo on the overpass takes. Horn to serve. Might as well give her assist on that one too. And the overpass off of the serve. Set for Junis. Denied by Murillo. And Coach Fromm coming off the bench. I can feel the timeout coming, and it does. 13-8. It is a 6-1 run for St. John's River State here in set 3. And where has this been the entire time for the Vikings? I mean, they looked like they were swimming upstream, no paddle in the boat, maybe a hole even in it. But instead, here in set 3, I mean, much like last night, which that third set was 25-22. The fourth set went extras, 27-25. And then St. John's River State able to complete the reverse sweep, 15-12. Our semifinal over in Court 1 here is locked in. Gulf Coast State, Kansas City, Kansas. It's a rematch of those two teams from twice they played last year. Our first match tomorrow. An Iowa boy calling 2 Iowa teams. Kirkwood and Iowa Central. It's a match that I told Coach Horn I wish I was in the gym for the night that they did play, when they went 5 sets. Now I get to cover it on the main stage, the national tournament. And that is only the 5th place consolation. And the 1 seed, and missing that one is Muma. Roll reversals. And it's Heartland that's hitting the negative. John's River State hitting 385. Molenhouse, pretty good receive. Mumad denied by Murillo. St. John's River State, though, their bench needs to stay on the one side. They're getting too far out. I like the celebration, but yeah, you can't get too far out there, and Murillo does it again. And they are feeding off of Juliet Murillo, the blocking machine, is what Coach Champagne said, 16-8. And nearly an overpass. Peters off the block, saved up. Brennan will set. Has to be a back set for Fortin. Or Longton, pardon me. Longton on that. Not Fortin. Pasha back to the front. Junis to serve. And we have a challenge by St. John's River State. Did not hear what the actual challenge is. Stay up to date with the latest news and information regarding NJCAA volleyball by visiting the official website of the National Junior College Athletic Association, njcaa.org. The team that falls here will play Mesa tomorrow. That is scheduled for 1 o'clock. We go 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, then to 4 o'clock for our semifinal, and back over at 6 o'clock for our consolation semifinal in the 5th place. The teams that lose in the semifinals get to go automatically for 3rd place, which is what's different about this year as opposed to last year, which is why Kansas City, Kansas ended up playing Gulf Coast State twice. And this year, I had talked to a couple of the coaches. They told me that that was going to change. The other teams did not care for that. The semifinalist teams, I know, and I think even some of the other coaches had mentioned they did not care for that extra match in the morning for 3rd place, where the semifinalists had to come back out, then play again, and they didn't care for that. So that's why I think the committee decided to change. There was probably a petition for that and made the change. So such different atmosphere. St. John's River State has kind of sucked the life out of Heartland after what was 25-12 and 25-14. Well, we'll get the call. This is supposed to go, or this was, I should say, going to Heartland. And instead, the challenge won by Coach Dryden and Coach Champagne. I think Coach Dryden had that first because Coach Champagne thanked Coach Dryden. Well, back to serve will be Horn. So okay. Yeah, I was going to say, Heartland had already made a change, taking Longton out and putting Pasha up. Well, because of that change to the score, and Longton had to come back in, and St. John's River State 17-9. And that is the correct score, and it should be Horn serving. We should be get going. There's more discussion at the scores table. Yeah, 17-8. And so a 9-point lead for the Vikings. Junis. Set far side for Peters. And that is in. Longton just looking at it. Where has the energy gone for the Hawks? And where did the energy come from for the Vikings? So Pesha just going to come back in and play the back line anyway. As a 10-point lead for St. John's River State. Detweiler. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it might be a little too late for Heartland. 3 ties in the match. That's it. The absolute domination that Heartland brought to the table in those first 2 sets. And Teal answering. Teal serving. More condensation on the floor. More sweat, really. Not condensation anymore. That's just sweat. All these players getting down. Molenhouse had that go sideways. Junis trying to set Pesha. And that one directly into Murillo. Or into the net. I couldn't quite tell. But I thought that was a block by Murillo. Although she didn't celebrate it as much. Either way, point for the Vikings. And they lead 20-9. Who would have thought? Well, you can't overlook them. Proved that last night. Detweiler showing off a little of the skills there. Roll shot up and over the block. Putting it down in the middle of the floor. But Heartland, who was dancing, singing. More sweat on the floor. Molenhouse. That goes sideways and an ace as it was double up time of 20-10. Molenhouse to serve. That one come off of Peixoto much easier. Peters with the lock. The block was late. Peters getting that one. Ebeling coming back in. Or Ebeling, pardon me, Can't even read my own writing at this point. Ebeling. Jeez. That's how I even wrote it. It's been a long week for 2 days. Muma couldn't get that down. Peixoto there. Big swing there by Ebeling. Muma long. No touch. Back to double up time, 22-11. Peixoto to serve. St. John's River State. What an answer this has been here in set number 3. Pesha off the block. But if you're the Vikings, you're living with these 1-and-1 side outs. You're okay with that. It's the long run that you have avoided this entire third set, which is what they didn't do in the first 2. Peters, good snap. Junis there. Pesha. And attacks Peixoto. Pesha winning that. So if you're Heartland, you're trying to get some momentum. Carry that over to set 4. As Horn sets, and that one well short for Uten. Now what happened on that one for Uten? That one going a little sideways on the receive, and Uten didn't get that one over either. And Coach Champagne calling a timeout. I mean, that's what you want as for Coach Fromm. You're looking at this going, we were down 22-11, 20-10, 22-11, and we had all the momentum. So trying to get back into that. This is that roller coaster ride that we talk about all the time. St. John's River State able to calm down. I can't believe that. Credit to the coaching staff and the kids. After 25-12 and 25-14, they roll reverse this set. Got off to a much better start, hitting over 300. Heartland's hitting a negative in this set. Heartland doubled their hitting errors in this set for the match. They had 5 hitting errors in the first 2 sets. They now have 15, 10 in this set. And for St. John's River State, they had 10 errors and 8 kills in the first set and went negative. They creeped over and reversed that with 10 kills and 8 errors for .051. They are now hitting 368 in this set. And we have a substitution as Stolzfus coming in for Teal in the back after that ace. Far side, Peters missed that one. Heartland putting together a run. The last 6. Oh, that one crawled over. Ebeling. Hannah Ebeling, fast, heavy slide. Some 0 tempo quicks too. Had a thumb injury earlier on in the year. So that stops a 6-0 run for Heartland. Reyes, to serve. Pesha, that would have been in, played up by Stolzfus. Houghton off the block, set. Pesha again, block, that might have been out. Mullenhouse, though, played it anyway. Mullenhouse saved again. Pesha gets a hit out of it. Stolzfus. And a block out of bounds. Point for Houghton, and it is set point for St. John's River State. Reyes with many to work with. Got 7 of them. And the dump off. Nearly clawed over by Peixoto. Brennan gets that one, but man, do they have to work for it. They fight off 1. And you need Longton to serve 6 more if you're Heartland. St. John's River State holding up the 1s. They acknowledge just the 1 left. Houghton and brought it 25-18. Now we got a match. I realize it's still 2-1, but St. John's River State has found their groove. They won the set 25-18. It's Heartland that leads the match 2-1. We'll take a timeout. Our NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championship quarterfinal on the NJCAA now.
Hey, Coach. Looks like the thunderstorm's rolling in. Are we good for the night?
My weather app says we're going to be just fine. Focus on the game.
My knees are aching. Storms are brewing.
Facebook says a tornado just touched down. Harry weather detected a lightning strike 7.2 miles out. We gotta call it.
Like the call.
Attention, the game has been delayed for lightning.
Knew it.
Make the call with confidence.
Looking for what comes next? For that moment when everything finally...
1 minute!
Whichever path you choose, it starts here.
Good morning. Why so serious?
Great shot.
Cover's 250. You got it.
Greenside bunker, land short.
Trust your line. There's plenty of green.
Breaks towards the water.
Lots of coaching today, huh?
We're one up.
When you strive to be the best, you need the right insights. Zurich has insurance solutions and risk strategies to help prepare your business for tomorrow.
There you see a little Heartland fans sitting in the stands here, but they didn't have a lot to cheer about in that third set. Probably past their bedtime, too. What time is it? Almost 9 o'clock. Get them kids to bed. Come on now. I know my 4 and 2-year-old better be at home sleeping. Who ain't sleeping is the St. John River State. What a response that they had in set 3. Looked like dead in the water and return to the promised land for 25-18 in set 3. They win, and in that set they had 375. For the match, still .089 and less kills than, or more kills than Heartland, but it was the errors early. They had so many of them in those first 2 sets. 18, only 4 in set 3. Clean things up. Their serve receive has also been better, slowing down Heartland's aces. And so now the Hawks have to regroup. Our match stats presented by the United States Air Force. We got a match now. I mean, dig your heels in. Peters has 8 kills, Teal 7, Uten 5. Murillo, I'm looking for Murillo's blocks. There we go. 1.5. Thought maybe it was more than that. Avilos Morales also has 4 kills. Murillo has 4 kills, and she at 667. Those all came in that last set. She was a difference maker. Cole, 2 kills. And then Ebeling also coming in with 1 kill. Peixoto in the back 10. Molenhouse 16 digs. Got to talk about those liberos once in a while. Brennan has 25 assists, and so does Horn. And away we go. Set 4, and in a must-have situation again for St. John's River State. They put themselves against the wall for set 3, able to respond. Now they got to do it for another one. They did it yesterday. Horn sets Peters. That one missed. And Heartland. Brennan back to serve. And into the net. You know, that's only their, 4th serving error. They have 11 aces. On the season for the Hawks, the most is 16. That was back on September 6th. I think I just tried to combine September and February together, and I have no idea why. Junis, that took her away from the net. No swing. Peters. Murillo, who was the difference maker early, she wants it again. The middles for Heartland are going to have to match that energy. We've had 3 ties in the whole match. They all happened early on in set 3 at 3, 5, and 7. Then St. John's River State ran away with it. The first 2 sets were all for Heartland, 25-12 and 25-14. That kill coming off of Detweiler. A National Junior College Athletic Association Offensive Player of the Week. Going off to Illinois Wesleyan. And a fantastic D3 program in volleyball. And an ace for Junis. And Heartland seems to have their mojo a little bit back too, because the bench is up. You see him on the right side dancing a little bit. That was missing completely in set 3. Set far side and a block. Muma coming up with a block there on Uten. I'll tell you what, that young lady, again, the game face. Junis has it. Murillo certainly has it too. Sometimes you just look at some of the players and you know, as an overpass and Muma takes that. And this is a lot like how the first 2 sets started for Heartland. Coach Champagne coaching, directing some traffic in the back. And another ace for Junis. Peixoto coming all the way over and getting in front of Uten. But I know I cover a high school team in lacrosse. Their coach is always stressing communication, and it seems so silly that as a coach you would sit there and say, our communication needs to be better. Like, your team, you would think, always talking, right? You're just always stressing that talk on the floor, call it out, say it. You think it's something that is so basic that should be happening all the time, and your team just forgets about it sometimes. That is what seemed to occur in that last serve receive for St. John's River State. I mean, you got Peixoto coming all the way over on Uten's side to take that. You just got to leave her alone. That serve receive should have been an easy one. Vikings get back into rotation, or not rotation, pardon me, in system, and set things up, keep going. Peixoto and Uten holding hands and screaming just as loud as possible at each other, probably to get it out. And also to talk. And that one comes to Uten then. Peters, roll shot off the net and over. And that'll bring back in Ebeling to the front row. Freshman middle from Greenville, North Carolina. Back to serve Peixoto. And a middle swing for Detweiler. Almost put a dent in the floor. You know, she got a couple of kills at the end of set 3, and I kind of had a feeling that she must have saw something through the block that no one else had for the Hawks, because she was the one having success very late. As Peters, that one blocked. Far side. Uten off the block and the kill. At 8-4. Reyes coming in for Peters. Up front, you got both, or pardon me, you don't have both. I thought Teal was up there too, but it's Ebeling, Horn, not Teal and Horn. Ebeling, Horn, and then Uten. See, Mullenhouse called off Junis on that. Muma, big swing, that's off the block. Nine to 4. Fortin back into serve. Man, that serve short. Those serving errors are starting to creep up a little bit. That's the 5th for Heartland. St. John's River State has 6 errors on the service line and just 2 aces, though. Uten to serve. Now that should bring Teal back to the front line, and it does. An overpass by Junis. Oh, she was trying to save it. It touched Mullenhouse, though, and Teal on that overpass takes care of it for the kill. Mullenhouse just didn't know that. Again, we go back to communication there. Mullenhouse had no idea that Junis was already over there. Back set for Longton. Far side for Teal, and that one bounced up off of Junis. And back to serve once again is Uten. And St. John's River State responding here in set 4. And that one long. Mullenhouse and Junis, that back court is dynamite for Heartland. I mean, you've got 2 of them that talking, calling out. You know, I'd seen in the back row a few times where it's just 2 receivers covering the whole floor. Those 2 could do it. Peixoto on an overpass, and Junis takes. And Parkland has just evened the match at 1 apiece over on the other side. So Callie and Parkland going 4 at least, because it is 1-1. A little bit different here as we are in the 4th. But over there it went 1-1. Here, Heartland won the first two as Fortin brought that over. Teal will get a look, tipped it across. Junis was there. And, oh, it is out. Yes, it was not touched before. I hope that Coach Fromm should not challenge that. I had a better vantage point at it than some of the other ones. And that definitely touched the floor before Peixoto tried to make the save. Brennan went on the dump off, but it didn't work. Kirkland to serve. Oh boy, mistimed on that between Valdez and Brennan. Gives Teal an open look, and she'll take care of it. The heavy hitters are starting to come up for St. John's River State. Teal has finally climbed over the negative, and 10 kills, .050. Uten, .053, 6 kills. Peters has 9 kills. And another overpass for St. John's River State. This one goes backwards off the bump. I'm not sure if that was Horn's bump or Murillo's, but it just shot completely to the back line and not a chance for Uten. I mean, she's a tall player. Uten's 6 foot. The length probably puts her over 7, but not that time. Time to serve. 12-9. Well, Heartland knew they were going to have to work for it. As Teal threw the double block. Looked like it was going to Murillo. Instead does not. I know how the double sub is. Mullenhouse will bring, or the double sub is Keim out. Oh, well, hold on now. Didn't get it. And a sub here with Peters coming in. Peters on the year, her high was 8, so she has eclipsed her season high. As Murillo, that went an overpass, but she wasn't quite ready for it. And that slide there by Detweiler way off the mark. No one in system. Detweiler will try it again and denied. Teal and Murillo. And all of a sudden it's 12-11. Going back to it, I don't know. Heartland got to have to change things up again. Horn up in the back to serve. They go to Junis, and she laser beams it off of Horn's hands. Attacking on Peters' side as opposed to Teal and Murillo. Not a bad idea. Brooklyn Brennan to serve. Short serve too. Peixoto just getting to it. Murillo up and over the block and got the point anyway. What a diving effort by Peixoto to keep in system. We've got more sweat on the floor. They need new towels. Is that the same towels we've been using all day? They're not dry. 13-12. Teal serving. Line drive off of Junis. And another one off of Horn. Just constantly with the line shots for Gracie Junis. Back in is Pescia. Talk about Teal, Peters, Murillo, Uten. Detweiler has 12, hitting .458. Junis 11, hitting .147. Pescia has 7 kills, .263, and Muma at 5. Muma, though, 9 blocks. Well, that's what it says. But total blocks says 9, but it's actually 4.5. Peters, open look. Junis ready for it. Set, Pescia through the double block. Your Heartland, you just got to keep putting, and this rotation right here with Junis serving has put some runs together for Heartland. Peixoto, that went backwards. They get Uten, and she's able to cut it across and miss the block of Detweiler and Muma. That was a nice hit. Way to see the floor. battling here for set 4. It's a 2-1 advantage, Heartland. 25-12, 25-14. St. John's River State, 25-18 on that last one. Detweiler over the block. It was still touched. Detweiler just jumping. Putting so much power on that. He's got a powerful lift. Mullenhouse to serve. Comes over to Uten. She's blocked by Muma. And that's what was kind of missing for Heartland in that third set. They weren't getting blocks. No runs. 17-13. What storylines you could have coming up here tomorrow. You got a rematch from last year again, as we had a rematch in our last quarterfinal with Kirkwood and Gulf Coast State. Gulf Coast State winning 3-0. Now they get a chance to do it again against Kansas City, Kansas, after they split last year in the national championship tournament. Here could be the Cinderella story of St. John's River State for the 10 seed, coming out in two reverse sweeps over top 10 teams to make the semifinals with a Hall of Fame coach going in this year. Really, Coach Champagne going in as a player, though. But still, you get what I'm saying. You got the two-time defending champion Cali Tigers over on the other side. Locked in a deadlock of 1-1 with Parkland. They're tied at 4s in the set 3. You got Heartland, the 2 seed, trying for their first championship. In a program that was built by the head coach. Parkland, one of the most prolific programs in all of D2, going for another championship. You can have all kinds of stuff tomorrow. What a tournament. Peters up and over the block. Junis there for the save. Pasha tipping, trying to find the donut, can't. Peters, roll shot, short, 18-13. Mullenhouse looking for a molten ball. It'll come from the teammate, Junis. Tough serve, too. Just got a set out of that as well. Got to go to a back set with Junis. Another flying in for Brennan. Roll shot. Brennan pushes to the back and got it. What a heads-up play by the setter on the 1. Not called two-touch either. Again, we've seen that a lot, but it's mainly been called on by hitters, not setters. What a spot. And Brennan saved that one as well. That one went over. Peters to the back. In. Oh, ho, ho. I think Coach Fromm's going to challenge. She is. She's already made the decision. This was awfully close. I like the challenge by Coach Fromm. This is a close play regardless, and you feel the momentum coming to the Heartland Hawks. If this gets overturned, huge call. So I like the challenge. Not calling the timeout, call the challenge. Official looking this over. Parkland and Cali still going at it. 8-7 over there, Parkland. So they're going to zoom in on this. I'm surprised it's not the camera on the right, our right side that they're looking at. They're going to have to slow that way down for the official to see. Boy, and the LED lights really make this tough, don't it? You can see on that. You at home probably have a bigger view of it than I do. I'm looking on about a, 8-9 inch screen here for my monitor. But I'm sure that you at home are looking at it on a bigger screen. Call in. I like that challenge though by Coach Fromm. The thing that does, even for the challenge, and you lose it, St. John's River State gets a side out, yes, but they don't get to celebrate that point. So it's a little bit like a kind of a deflator for the Vikings, like, oh, we got a point, let's go, let's get that next serve. Well, now they had to wait for it. It is in the hands of Reyes now. But it's not as though the point came right away. You know how everybody gets so emotional. Brennan off of the net, saving that. Horn sets. Embling on the slide, far side for Uten, and attacks Pesha. Got that one. Now the Vikings can celebrate one. Ball comes back out to Reyes. 4-point lead for Heartland. And that one long. Borton on that serve. Horn will set far side, and Uten over the block. Back to serve will be Uten. 20-16. Heartland needing 5 to close out the match and reach the semifinal. Pesha had to come back over to the middle. Teal roll shot. Yes. Pesha was not ready for that, and I think Coach Fromm's calling a timeout. She is. Coach Fromm calling a timeout. And 20-17. And how about this huddle for Heartland? Your guys zooming in, but there's Coach Fromm and the coaching staff all discussing things off to the left. This is a players' huddle. This is not your typical coaching staff going over and discussing things. I mean, heck, they're 5 feet away at least, almost 10 feet away. So now Coach Champagne and company, they are discussing things in their huddle. 20-17. Coach Fromm letting the team just talk it out. There's 30 seconds left in this huddle. Let's see how long Coach Fromm even talks to him. Telling you what I wouldn't give for a microphone down there just to know what Coach Fromm is talking about. She talked to him for 17, 20 seconds. That was it. They break huddle. The rest of that time was players. Now, I will say I can see off camera, of course, I'm looking over to my left. Coach Champagne and company, they did talk the entire time. She's trying to keep her team motivated and up, those spirits up. You know how important that is? 2017, what a battle this has been for the fourth set. Mullenhouse just getting underneath that. Pesha away from the net. Put it over. Horn sets far side. Teal got it down again, and it's back to just a 2-point lead for Heartland. Now the official has to get on, well, really both teams. You have to stay behind the line. Can't be running off. St. John's River State has done that a couple of times. Well, celebrating is a good thing. And a roll shot there for Valdez. Far side, Teal again, up and over the block. Brennan tried to put it over on the 2. Set for Pesha, she's blocked. Junis will set her again. Off the block. Brennan put it over. Boy, that could have been a 2-touch. They do call it. Yeah, that's the right call. None more important than Coach Champagne's coaching career than the two-touch call on Scottsdale to close out the 2022 National Championship. Oh, that one, I don't know. Fortin, I think, made the right play. Valdez blocked again. Brennan coming over to Pesha, and that one falls. We have a net violation, I think, on Horn anyway. How close that was to being tied 2020. Things getting tight. And more stuff on the floor. And, you know, this is just holding off on the server, but they have to clean it up. But we've had a lot of that here in court number 1 today. Good pass. Horn on the dump off. Jessica Horn on that. Ready for it. They bring Murillo back in for the front line. And Kirkland will serve for St. John's River State. Can they close out set 4 and push to a 5th? Clean pass. Junis back up and missed it. No touch on that. 21's our first tie since, I believe, 2-2 here in set 4. That's what I have written down. Junis again, but this time cut it inside instead of outside. Reyes could not make the play. Back to serve is Kime. Heartland needs 3, but it is tight now. Set 4, 25-12, 25-14, Heartland. 25-18, St. John's River State in the third. Murillo, a wide open net. Heartland looked for the 2 for Horn. She went right to her middle. Parkland having all kinds of momentum over there against Cowley in the third. Remember, that match is tied 1-1. Back to serve is Horn. St. John's River State, a reverse sweep of Iowa Central, trying to do the same to the 2 seed. Set for Detweiler, and that come right to Peixoto. And that is who they wanted up front for Heartland. That is exactly who you're looking for. Detweiler, her 14th kill, and she's hitting 500. Brennan on the serve. Set for Murillo. Block up front. Detweiler, roll shot, saved. Horn will set again for Teal. Blocked. Peixoto saved. Now Horn can track it. Does. Teal. Roll shot. Go to Junis. At the 10-foot line. Went sideways. Teal there, though, to save it. Mullenhouse down. Junis again. Yes! What a volley. Match point 1 for Heartland. Brennan serving. Oh my. Almost 2 touch there. And the roll shot. Not there. Pesha off the block. Can be saved. Heartland wins. What a match, though. What a comeback by St. John's River State. What a barn burner we had for a 4th set. 2 big ones for Heartland, 1 for St. John's River State, and we had an absolute battle in the 4th set. Coach Fromm, she is fired up as Heartland will move into the semifinals. St. John's River State, though, look out, because they're going to come back out tomorrow. And they've got Mesa tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And, man, if they're playing as well as they did in set 3 and 4, that is going to be a great match as well. 25-12, 25-14, 18-25, St. John's River State, 25-22. There's Coach Howell walking by for Sauk Valley. He was enjoying the quarterfinal. Watching Heartland win, 25-22 the final. There's your match stats. Thank you. I was going to run through those, Matt. You're on top of everything. 47 kills for St. John's River State, 45 for Heartland. And many of those kills, St. John's River State had 16 kills in that fourth set. 17 for Heartland. I mean, clean volleyball, talking about 342 and 333. Both teams had their offense going in that fourth set. The digs even, and the aces, Heartland had many of those at the very beginning of the match and ended up with 13, all presented by the U.S. Air Force. So let me run through. My guys over here are ready to be shutting down. I'm going to run through just a few individuals, and I'm done. Teal at 13 kills. Peters had 10 for St. John's River State. 37 assists for Horn, and the back end, Peixoto, ended up with 11 digs. For Heartland, 15 for Detweiler, 13 for Junis, and Detweiler hit 500. Pesha added 9. Muma only had 5 kills in the match, and most of those happened early on, but she did end up with 5 blocks as well. Brennan, 39 assists, and Molenhouse, 19 digs. And Junis had 8 aces. What? Really? And that is a new season high for her. Heartland wins. They're awaiting the winner of over on the other side. And in fact, the Heartland Hawks have come back out. They're probably going to watch much of this as Parkland and Cali are going on. But we're done on court number 1. The Heartland Hawks advance to the semifinals. 25-12, 25-14, 18-25, St. John's River State, 25-22. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage here on court number 1. Come back with us tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We'll dip back into the 5th place consolation. You've been watching the NJCAA Division II Volleyball Championships on the NJCAA Network.